Welcome to Through Endurance We Conquer. I'm your host, Ashley Mello, and today we're talking about something every runner wonders at some point. Do you really need to run more to get better? The answer isn't as simple as yes or no, and that's exactly what we're diving into today. If you've ever felt stuck in your running, like you've hit a plateau, or you just don't have time to keep adding more miles, this episode is for you. We're going to cover practical ways to improve your speed, endurance, and efficiency without piling on extra miles. Before we jump in, if you're just starting your running journey, be sure to grab my free Couch to 5K running guide at mellorunning.com. That's MELO running.com. It's a simple, beginner-friendly plan to help you build up to 3.1 miles in just 6 weeks. And if you have any questions or want personalized coaching, feel free to reach out to me at ashley@mellorunning.com or DM me on Instagram at Through Endurance We Conquer. All right, let's get into the details. One of the most important things you can do to improve your running is add in some strength training or resistance training. Strength training and resistance training are often used interchangeably, but they're not quite the same. Both are essential for improving running performance. Strength training typically refers to exercises using heavier weights to build maximal strength. On the other hand, resistance training includes body weight exercises or resistance bands to improve muscular endurance and growth. And both play a role in a well-rounded running routine. Why does strength training matter for runners? Most importantly, strength training helps you prevent injuries. Your cardiovascular system adapts to training much faster than your muscles, bones, and connective tissue. That's why many runners feel like they can handle more mileage, but their bodies aren't actually ready for it. Strength training helps bridge that gap between your cardiovascular system and musculoskeletal system, which reduces the risk of injury. Certain muscles also help stabilize our joints to help prevent injuries. When I was in physical therapy, my PTA was taking a class about knee injuries, and he told me that the majority of knee injuries are due to weak quads. And knee injuries happen to be very common among runners. And that's why you should prioritize strength training and make it a part of your routine to make sure that your stabilizer muscles are strong and you don't have any issues with your joints. Our calves also help stabilize our ankles. And that's why you'll see trail runners tend to have more prominent calves than road runners. Strong calves will help stabilize the ankle on uneven terrain. Another way that strength training can improve your running is that it builds power. Once you've built a solid strength foundation, you can add plyometric exercises like jump squats or box squats, and that can help you improve your speed and agility. But when you're ready to add in plyometric exercises, start slow and just add 1 to 2 exercises at a time and focus on your form. That way you'll avoid injury. Strength training, especially core strength, will help you improve your running economy. Strength training leads to nervous system adaptations that help your body use less energy while running. So that's what running economy is. It's about using less energy while you run, and that'll help you run further and faster for a lot longer. A strong core will help you maintain good running form, especially once fatigue sets in. When I was traveling and running marathons or 50Ks every weekend, the first few months I was very consistent with strength training twice per week to maintain my strength. During that time, I noticed I had less pain during and after my races, and I tended to recover more quickly. Along the way, I had 3 weekends with races on Saturday and Sunday, so I took a break from strength training during the week to help me conserve energy for those race weekends. I ended up skipping strength training after that to focus on rest, but I did notice that I experienced more pain during and after races, and I took a lot longer to recover. And that could be partly due to the volume of races I was running at the time, but I also think the lack of strength training played a role too. This was a huge lesson in why runners need strength training. It helps the body handle the demands of high mileage and helps you recover faster. If you're new to strength training, here are some key exercises for runners. Squats and lunges are great compound movements that help you build leg strength and stability. Deadlifts are also a great compound exercise, and these will help strengthen the glutes and hip drive, both of which are essential for running power. And like I mentioned, you can do core work like planks, Russian twists, and these will help improve your stability, posture, and running form. You're probably wondering, well, how often should runners strength train? I know our training plans are usually filled with mileage and running anywhere from 4 to 5 days a week, so it can be hard to include strength training. And while 2 to 3 times per week is ideal, it doesn't have to be heavy lifting. You can do body weight exercises or exercises with resistance bands to help build and maintain strength. And if 2 to 3 times per week is too much for your schedule, just once per week can help you maintain strength. But twice a week is much better for progress if you can fit it in. And how often and what exercises you do, and whether you're lifting heavier weights or doing more body weight exercises, all of those will depend on your training phase. During peak race prep, you'll probably scale back and focus more on running. Maybe you'll do body weight exercises once a week just to maintain some of your strength. However, after your race and when you're in the off season, you'll probably want to focus on lifting heavier and building more muscle because your body will burn some of that muscle once you start logging more mileage. So it's good to build that foundation when you're in your off season. And while you're training, especially when you're in your speed work phases, that'll be when you'll want to start adding in some plyometric exercises, but only add those in if you already have a solid strength training base. Because if you don't and you start doing those explosive movements, it will likely lead to injury. Okay, so we've talked about strength training for injury prevention, but what about flexibility? Because if your muscles are stiff and tight, no amount of strength will save you from poor movement patterns. Both mobility and flexibility are essential for runners, but they're not the same thing. Mobility is your ability to move a joint through its full range of motion with control. Flexibility is the ability of your muscles to lengthen passively. Both mobility and flexibility are important for runners. They both help improve range of motion. Better mobility allows for a more efficient stride and reduces compensation patterns. Stretching also helps reduce stiffness. It helps prevent tightness that can lead to pain or muscle imbalances while running. Both mobility and flexibility also enhance your efficiency. The less restriction in your movement, the smoother and more economical your running will be. Some key mobility drills for runners are hip openers. These will help improve stride length and reduce tightness in the hips. So especially if you have a desk job and you're sitting most of the day, your hips are in a shortened position and they could be very tight. So it's important to spend more time on stretching your hip flexors and doing some mobility drills for them. So for hip openers, you could do the 90-90 stretch or even the pigeon pose, and that will help with the hip flexor mobility. You can also work on your ankle mobility. This helps with proper foot strike and knee alignment, both very important. So you could try calf raises, and that's something you can also include in your strength training routine. Or you could also work on banded dorsiflexion. So you'll use a resistance band to flex your ankle and improve ankle flexion. And if you're looking for more mobility drills or stretching, there's plenty of YouTube videos with full mobility routines and some tailored especially for runners. Between foam rolling and stretching, what's actually worth doing? Stretching isn't optional. You can't get away with not stretching. Prioritizing flexibility work will help prevent stiffness and improve movement efficiency. And if you still have tight muscles after stretching, you can also include some foam rolling. That'll help release the tight muscles and improve blood flow, but it shouldn't completely replace stretching. It should be supplemental to stretching. And when it comes to static stretching, that's when you're holding your stretch for 30 seconds or so. That's best done after your runs to help maintain flexibility. And dynamic stretching, like leg swings, those are ideal before your runs to prepare your muscles for movement. If you're not sure where to start or following a mobility or stretching routine feels like a chore, yoga is a great alternative. It incorporates both mobility and flexibility work while also providing a mental reset. Even a short session a few times a week can make a difference. Improving mobility and flexibility helps your body move more efficiently, but it's only part of the equation. How you move while running, your form, plays a huge role in preventing injuries and improving performance. Let's break down some simple running form tweaks that can make a big difference. Having good running form improves running economy, meaning you use less energy to maintain a given pace. Over time, poor form can lead to inefficiencies and even injuries. I touched on this a bit in episode 6 about common running mistakes, but let's go deeper. Some of the key running form elements include posture and cadence. You're going to want to stand tall with a slight forward lean at the ankles. Avoid hunching over or keeping your head down. Look ahead. Keep your cadence, which is your step rate, quick and light to prevent overstriding. Another thing to keep in mind is your foot strike. Midfoot versus heel strike is often debated, but what actually matters? What matters more than where you're striking on your foot is where your foot lands in relation to your body. Your foot should land under your body, not out in front. This reduces braking forces and makes running more efficient. While running, you also need to keep your arms relaxed with a natural swing. Avoid crossing your arms over your torso or holding tension in your shoulders. Your arms should move forward and back, not side to side. They shouldn't be crossing your body. If you need to assess your running form, you can film yourself running from different angles. You can also get feedback from a coach or professional who can analyze your movement and suggest small changes. All right, now that we've got form covered, let's talk about speed. Because even if your form is perfect, you won't get faster without adding some intensity. Instead of increasing the number of miles you're running, try increasing the intensity through speed workouts. This approach improves your running economy, builds strength, and makes race pace feel easier. Speed workouts help your body adapt to running faster paces, so when race day comes, your goal pace feels more manageable. They also build strength, not just endurance, which is crucial for both performance and injury prevention. And there are many different types of speed workouts you can do. One of the most common are strides. And these are going to be very short spurts of speed. A lot of people add them at the end of a medium run or a steady state run. If you like a more structured format, you can do 4 to 6 repetitions of 20 to 30 seconds each at 80 to 90% of your maximum effort. And between each set, you're going to want to slowly jog or walk to get a full recovery before you hit the next set of strides. And strides are a great way to ease into speed work. They improve your form, foot turnover, and help you feel more comfortable running faster. And again, you can add strides at the end of a medium or long run. Another speed workout you can try are hill sprints or repeats. For hill sprints, you can find a shorter hill and run 8 to 12 seconds at maximum effort, and then walk or jog until you feel fully recovered and can do another intense set. Hill sprints build power and resilience. They're also fantastic for preparing for hilly races or strengthening your glutes and hamstrings. And you can also do longer hill repeats. If you're like me and you live somewhere very flat, you can get a great hill repeat workout on the treadmill. I even use this interval timer app, and I have the program set up in my phone where after a 10-minute warm-up, I do 4 sets of 6 minutes on a medium incline. Depending on my fitness, that may be about 4% or 5% grade on the treadmill. And I run at a higher intensity, so I may run, for me, that's probably about 5.5 to 6 miles an hour at that hill. And then I'll lower the treadmill to a 1% grade and a 5 mile an hour pace just to slow down and cool down until the next hill. So I'll do 4 sets of those, 6 minutes high intensity, 3 low, and then cool down for 5 minutes. And while that's not necessarily a speed workout, it is still a higher intensity hill workout, and it's great for trail runners who are doing longer distance races to prepare for those hills on race day. If you prefer running on a track, you can also do more structured intervals of 400-meter or 800-meter repeats. These are a fantastic way to work on both speed and endurance without racking up too many miles. If you don't have access to a track, you could also set an interval timer on your phone for a higher intensity of running for 3 minutes, maybe 2-minute cool down, and repeat those intervals until you're done with your workout. If you want to do some speed work, but you don't like to have too structured of a workout, you could do a fartlek run. Fartlek is Swedish for speed play, and there's no structure to this. It's all based on how you feel while you're running. So you could just run at a high intensity for as long as you feel like until you feel like taking a break. There's no set structure to fartlek workouts. Some people will structure it around landmarks on their run. Maybe they'll run full speed until they pass by a light post and then start walking or jogging to cool down. The important thing to note is that there's no structure and you can just start running faster whenever you feel like it and then pull back and run slower when you feel like you need a break. You can just go by how you feel, especially if you're not used to doing speed work in your training. This is also a great way to start running faster and see how it feels for you. And both structured intervals and fartlek workouts help keep the workouts interesting and challenging. Another way to incorporate speed in your training is by using tempo runs. And these runs will be about 20 to 40 minutes at a comfortably hard pace. A tempo run is run at a pace you can hold for about an hour. It strikes the balance between speed and endurance and is great for teaching you how to maintain an even pace for a longer period. And if you're looking to add speed work into your training program, you'll want to add a speed session once or twice a week, depending on your experience level. Even adding one short session per week can make a noticeable difference in your running performance. When I first started running, I avoided speed work because it was intimidating. I never thought I could be a fast runner. And honestly, I thought focusing on speed would take the enjoyment out of my runs. It felt like it would be too hard and unenjoyable. But after I tried a few intervals and tempo runs, I realized something. It was actually fun to run fast. Speed workouts challenged me, but they also gave me that runner's high in a new way. So if you're intimidated, just give it a try. Maybe try some strides at the end of your run, or add in a fartlek workout for the week, and you might be surprised at how much you enjoy pushing the pace. We've talked about pushing the pace and how speed can improve your running, but it's just as important to give your body the time it needs to recover and adapt. Let's dive into some essential recovery strategies that will help you perform at your best. When it comes to sleep and recovery, gains are made when you rest. This can feel counterintuitive, especially when we're all about pushing ourselves. But recovery is where your body repairs and strengthens itself. There are a ton of recovery tools on the market, like foam rollers, compression gear, massage guns, or you may see people taking ice baths or using cryotherapy. But the most effective and underrated recovery tools are sleep and rest. Make sure you're prioritizing quality sleep each night. It's when your muscles rebuild and adapt to the stress you've placed on them. And ideally, if you can, you're going to want to aim between 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night, depending on your schedule, the intensity of your workout. But at minimum, you should be getting 7 quality hours. And if you can, schedule a rest day into your training routine too. And if you're antsy and you don't like full rest days, you could try active recovery. So that's going to include activities like walking, biking, swimming, yoga, anything that'll keep you moving, but that's a lot lighter on your body and does not include running. That will also help with recovery. Nutrition also plays a huge role in your recovery and improving your running performance. Fueling your body properly is a key component of performance. You can't out-train poor nutrition. Aim to fuel with whole foods, focusing on a balanced intake of carbs, protein, and healthy fats. It's also crucial to not run fasted. Your body needs energy to perform, especially on longer runs or intense workouts. If you plan to run for over an hour, make sure to bring a snack or have something prepared beforehand to fuel your run. Whether that's a sports drink, energy gels, or a homemade snack, fueling up before or during your run will keep you energized and help you recover faster. And the same goes for hydration too. Make sure that you're drinking plenty of water throughout the day in addition to during your runs. And that'll help you with your recovery as well. So to recap, you don't need to run more miles to improve. Small changes can make a big difference. Resistance and strength training help your muscles, bones, and connective tissue adapt faster to running, which decreases the risk of injury. Mobility and stretching improve your range of motion and also help prevent injury. Correcting your running form can greatly improve your running economy. Including some high-intensity training, whether that's speed workouts or hill repeats, can help you improve your running without amping up the miles. Make sure to take time to take care of yourself with proper rest and sleep and proper nutrition, and these will help with your recovery and performance as well. So for this week's challenge, I want you to pick one specific area to focus on this week. Maybe it's adding 2 strength sessions, perfecting your running form, or dedicating 10 minutes a day to mobility work. Keep track of your progress and feel free to share your journey with me. And remember, if you want personalized support, reach out to me for one-on-one coaching. My contact information is included in the show notes. Next week, we'll talk about how to train for your first race. So don't forget to subscribe and share the podcast with a friend. I'd also appreciate it if you can take the time to leave a 5-star review. Anything you can do to help me reach and help more people is greatly appreciated. Well, thank you for listening. Keep showing up, trust the process, and remember, it's through endurance that we conquer.